We were promised flying cars, Cybertrucks, Face ID. Instead, we have microaggressions, autocorrect, and facial recognition that labels us suspicious. We were promised technology would serve us. Instead, it seems like we're serving it. You know, I could have titled this video, "Are You Awake?" or "Wake Up?" But those titles won't get views. I mean, unless maybe I add sheep to the end of it. Even this video, it's not mine, it's ours. It's our stories. I am not the only one telling it. There's this whole chorus of us on the internet doing the exact same thing. Our videos are finding each other and merging together into this conversation. This thing that's bigger than any one of us. That's why it's so important. So here, take a step back from your feed for a second. Take a deep breath. Look at how much of this is happening inside of you. Your thoughts, your emotions, they're your story. They're supposed to be messy, complicated, contradictory, beautiful. And the more you describe that beautiful mess, the more alive you feel. And yet in sharing our stories, we're being formatted to fit into these neat little boxes. And the worst part is, we're doing it to ourselves. We're editing out the silences, the pauses, the wrong notes. I'm guilty of this too. I spend hours agonizing over a headline. And when I finally hit publish, I feel this sense of relief wash over me. But then I see how many people are seeing it, and I'm like, why isn't this number higher? Why aren't more people moved by this? And that's when I realize I'm not writing to share my truth. I'm writing to chase a metric. The truth is messy. The truth isn't optimized for clicks or shares. But the longer we participate in this game, the more we forget that, and the more we forget, the harder it becomes to remember. Do you ever wonder if we traded convenience for something we didn't realize we needed? Like being seen. I mean, really seen. Because lately, I'm not sure anyone is watching. Not the way people used to. I talk to a screen more than I talk to my mother. I ask questions to a voice that answers instantly, but it doesn't care what I asked. And that, does something to you. We built systems to make life easier, but somehow, life feels colder, sharper, more silent in the places where warmth used to live. I can order food without speaking. I can date without ever making eye contact. I can lose my job in an email. I can get denied a loan by a black box algorithm with no explanation, just a number that says I am not enough. They say we're optimizing everything, but I don't think you can optimize being human. Do you know what it feels like to get rejected by code? Not a person. Not someone who can look you in the eye and say, "I'm sorry." Just a line of logic that spits out a no. No appeal, no reason, just silence. I used to think the future would be loud. Flying cars, blinking lights, robots talking to us in perfect sentences. But the real future, it's quiet, it's ghosting, it's talking and never being heard. And the thing is, we chose this. Bit by bit, we let the systems grow. We wanted faster, easier, sharper. We didn't ask what it would cost. I see you trying to type with gloves on, trying to be precise. But there are things the machine will never understand, like tenderness, like the way our bodies crave touch. And now the closest we get is swiping right, as if love can be reduced to a percentage. The irony is that we thought technology would bring us closer. Instead, it's pushed us further apart. Remember when phones had physical keyboards? There was this ritual to texting. Each keystroke, it felt personal. The slower pace forced us to be more intentional about what we wrote. These days, we send 100 messages a day, but how many of them mean something? We use emojis to compensate for the lack of emotion. We multitask while we text. We ghost people over instant messaging apps. Love has become a series of blue check marks. The algorithms tell us what to buy, what to watch, who to follow. But what happened to asking for advice? For help? We used to go to people. Now we go to the voice in our pocket. We used to have conversations. Now we have exchanges. The art of dialogue is disappearing. We're losing the ability to sit in silence with another human being. We don't know what to do with uncomfortable pauses. We don't know how to be vulnerable in a world that rewards perfection. But here's the crazy thing. In trying to clean the mess of emotion, we've stripped the soul right out of communication. I used to write poetry. Now I write prompts. I used to feel things deeply. Now I analyze if the feeling is efficient, if it's useful, if it can be monetized. The question isn't, can you monetize this? The question should be, what does it mean to be human? I can measure my growth by the number of followers. I can see my influence through analytics. But that doesn't tell me if I'm happier, if I'm more fulfilled. Does any of this matter if we're all turning into these faceless avatars behind glowing screens? I remember sitting on the floor next to my grandmother as she knitted. Back then, life felt different. It felt tangible. I could see the thread becoming a scarf, stitch by stitch. I couldn't see what I was creating online. How could I tell if anything was real? And I know what you're thinking. This is dramatic? Come on, it's not that bad. But it starts with small lies. It starts with ghosting, with never saying the hard things. We avoid vulnerability because we fear rejection, and then we wonder why empathy is dead. I recently saw a comedian who was talking about how people have stopped looking him in the eye. We've lost the courage to gaze at another human being. The comedian asked the audience, "Is this what it means to be polite? Is this what we've traded kindness for?" He said, If you're gonna sit there with your phone while we're having this conversation, then don't come to my show. Don't come to any show. Go home and watch Netflix. And that metaphor stuck with me. We don't shake hands anymore. We don't know how to connect. We don't know how to hold space for someone else's story. We don't know how to listen. Because what if their story is more beautiful than ours? What if their pain makes us feel inadequate? And I get it. I feel it too. The pressure to curate the perfect version of ourselves. The pressure to constantly perform. But it's in the messiness. It's in the rawness that we find connection. It's in the broken places where light can get in. And you're not alone. I promise there's this community out there that understands that you're not your title. You're not your stats. You're not your job. You're not what you post. You're not the label of the latest thing you're obsessed with. You're not what you contribute. You're not the problems you're trying to solve. You're not the goals you're chasing. You're more than all of that. You are you. And yes, it's scary to strip away all the noise and all the distractions. It's scary to show up as yourself, but that's where the magic happens. That's where the aliveness happens. That's where the meaning happens. Because when you show up as yourself and you allow space for someone else to show up as themselves, that's when the most beautiful things happen. That's when breakthroughs happen. That's when hearts break and heal. That's where trust is built. That's where belonging is found. That's where stories are shared. That's where we find each other. That's where we find ourselves. So what do? How do we start? Well, we start by showing up. By letting our stories breathe. By giving our feelings room to grow. By making space for discomfort, because that's where the breakthrough is. That's where the change is. That's where we find ourselves again. I mean, do you feel seen? I mean, really seen? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for listening.